So, following up from the album review by Fractal Cypher that I did yesterday, this is the EP and latest thing that the band has actually released. So, for those who didn't catch the first one, Fractal Cypher is a band from Canada, Montreal. They've only released two things, that being one album, which was The Human Paradox, which was released in 2016, and then they released an EP, which is Prelude to an Impending Outcome, that released 2 years later in 2018. And this is, as I said, the most latest thing they have released of the moment of doing this video. Hopefully they do more. They are basically progressive metal, and for those who didn't catch, as I say, the previous album review, which I only did yesterday, I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was an incredible album. There was just so much to love about it. The leadmanship between the keys and guitars were amazing. They always had a focus on maintaining melody as well as showing amazing technical prowess. Throughout the songs as well, the musicians always showed technicalities, just with how they layered themselves through the songs and the structuring, as well as showing their technical abilities, as well as maintaining melodies, and also respecting each other, not overshadowing one of the other players. If someone's doing something and someone's doing something else and they're both leads, you need to make sure that both can be heard and understood at the same time without drowning one out over the other, which the band did incredibly well, which I thought was amazing for a first album, for a band to be so unified and work so well. Vocalist, incredible. The only issue I had, which knocked off that 0.5 of a rating, was basically a few screamy elements sprinkled through 3 tracks out of 9. 2 of them only being bridge sections, and then one of them being half of a verse. The album was very long. It was just an incredible band. Now, for those who kind of picked up on it, I did say that the EP is technically better. I did say that. And I also talked about the fact that on this channel I am really strict and have only given 10 out of 10s twice. Given 9.5 barely happens, 10s obviously barely happens, I've only done 2 as I said, and even 9s I barely give. 8.5 is usually the standard, and then going that much further is basically doing something beyond amazing. And I prefer this EP. So, let's talk about EPs for a minute. Now, EPs, for people who don't know, because people actually don't, my girlfriend didn't actually have a clue what it meant, and I had to explain it to her. But an EP is basically a short album. It's just a few collection of songs that a band will do in between recording albums, usually. So this EP only has 4 tracks. Now, personally, I like long albums. I like, if I listen to something, I want my time to have been worth. I don't want to sit down and then commit to listening to something for it to only have been 20 minutes. Because it's like I haven't really got my time out of that. And also, if you were going to spend something, you don't want to spend the typical value of CDs, be it £15 or something, for it to be over and done with. Especially if you actually enjoy the album. If you don't like it, then yeah, you want it to be over and done with. But if you do like something, you don't want it to be over. You want to get your money's worth, and you want to kind of get what you are expecting when you sit down, to get a good length. A good length for me is usually around the hour mark. I don't like the typical metal stuff, which is the mainstream stuff, which usually sits around 43 minutes or something, 44, 45. And that's kind of typical. I like sitting around an hour. So, because of that, I don't really like EPs. I listen to albums. I find that the albums is where the most work goes in. It is the catalogue. The EP is just this side thing that isn't important. It's not really to do with the band. But here I am, I'm reviewing the EP, and I said it's better than the album. So how long is this thing? So you only got 4 tracks, barely anything, and it's 35 minutes long. Just think about that. 4 tracks, 35 minutes. And as you all know, a pop album or a mainstream metal act, the length of an album that usually will consist of something around 12 tracks gets to around 42, 45 minutes. This is 5 minutes off basically being a typical length album. And this is just an EP of 4 tracks. So even though, yes, 35 minutes is still short, it is just over half an hour. And for me, I like an hour, as I said. But for an EP, 35 minutes is a hefty amount of time. And I deeply appreciate that. It's a strong collection of songs. I like all of them. It's 35 minutes, which for an EP is very long. It is just so shy of being that, full-blown album length, which would have been great. So as you can tell, if it's 4 tracks and it equals 35 minutes, these tracks are going to be long. The shortest song is 6 minutes 53, so basically 7 minutes is the shortest thing you get on this EP, which is absolutely insane. Going to show that each track, it's going to have a hell of a lot in it, because it can't just be the intro, verse, chorus, bridge, and then leave on a chorus again. It can't be that, unless they really, really stretch it out, but it would be absolutely mind-draining that. So they're gonna obviously pack a lot of changes into this. The longest track on this is 10 minutes 14 seconds. Pretty long. And then talking about the previous album again, before I get into this track by track, The Human Paradox, I kind of said that the band had a kind of unique sound to them. It was very modern metal, but sometimes it could have a little bit of a bluesy twist to it, and then melodies as well as a bit of old school and everything. And each song had its own identity. Even the vocalist had, personality in his voice. So going into Prelude to an Impending Outcome, this is very different. This is a complete change. Like Avenged Sevenfold, which I kept bringing up in the previous review, my favourite band, and why I really, really like them, one of the main reasons of many, is the fact that they always do something new. They always push the envelope. You don't get anything that sounds like them, and then their albums don't sound anything like them, because they keep changing, they keep doing new things. And Prelude to an Impending Outcome does not sound like anything off of The Human Paradox. So everything is different. Each track has an identity to it, a very strong one, and it is all very, very different. The band in 2 years also seems to have come such a long way. It is unbelievable. The maturity in this EP compared to the previous one, which was kind of heavy and everything, this one has a big focus on making sure that melodies are always there, not sacrificing heaviness at all, and making sure there is always something nice, something more pleasing sounding, something just more melody driven. And then the leads have also stepped up. Now the leads of the keys and the guitar in the previous album, The Human Paradox, were phenomenal. But here is not a step up, it is light years beyond, which kind of seems to kind of drop off the scale if that's the case, seeing that in The Human Paradox the solos were pretty great. The solos here are unbelievable. It is absolutely insane. So, I think I've summed up a fair bit here. So let's get track by track and see what each of these tracks actually offer, shall we? So, the first track is Coming Back to Life. This is the longest track, as I stated, the first track was at 10 minutes 14 seconds. So how does this one start? So, the previous album, The Human Paradox, started with the kind of, that Arabic Latin kind of effects, and then it went into instrumentation that was very heavy, then it went into solo after solo after solo. So basically it had its build, and then it just exploded into just showing you everything. This does the exact opposite. This starts off melodically. This is actually the most melodic track of the whole EP, in actual fact.
So it is the complete 180 of their previous album. It also shows the maturity that the band takes. Now, some people kind of get annoyed at throwing maturity around like that, saying the more mature thing is being melodic, like heaviness can't be mature. Well, it can. I'm just saying mature is in just the way that they've kind of been able to approach melody. They seem to have harnessed it at a greater level. That is the maturity here. So you've had melodic tracks on the Human Paradox where you've had the keys and vocalist near enough isolated on their own. And in the Human Paradox, it sounds nice, but here in Coming Back to Life, everything is just turned up to that next level. It is way more graceful. The beauty, the melody, it is just so much bigger than it was in the previous album. It shows growth and therefore maturity. It shows the appreciation of singular notes to make sure every single one has its purpose. It sounds beautiful. Each note has to work. If one note falters, the whole system collapses. It works. They focus. They concentrate on what they are doing. And therefore, when the song starts, it starts near enough in a whisper. You just get very slight keys, then it just kind of adds more until you've got the consistent melody going. And then the vocalist comes in. Now, as I said in the previous album, this vocalist has actually got a bit of a nasal kind of voice to him, although when it came to the melodies, he did sing in a cleaner voice. So here, again, he does have a clean voice in singing. And here, it still sounds like he has now got a new personality. He gives personality to the kind of song. He gives a persona, a thought, an emotion. He puts himself into the song, and therefore he sounds different here because he is singing to what the song requires. He puts on a great vocal performance. He puts emotion into it. Now, there is more to singing than just basically being able to hit your notes. There is, again, as I said, putting the emotion into it so you can feel, you can connect, you can understand what the singer is trying to say. More than just words, but through just the emotion that he puts out, where words are not therefore needed, but the words are still obviously there because he is singing words, not gibberish. So the keys are sounding brilliant. Take out the vocalist here. The keys here is just basically a melody. That is all it is. It's not lead. But even taking out the vocalist, I could listen to this for ages. It sounds so unbelievably nice. It is so beautiful. The keys have such a rich, warm tone to them. They are so inviting and pleasant compared to the Human Paradox, where it still sounded nice, but it just wasn't as warm. It wasn't as melodic and just absolutely emotionally driven like this. It's just that step further. And as I say, the vocalist, he works well. So the song naturally just grows into the melody. It takes its time. Same with this first section of verse. It takes its time with you. And then when it builds up, it's basically the keys just kind of heighten itself. It just gets that bit much more rich, that much higher. The guitars then come in, but not heavy. They're kind of clean and in the background. So it basically is just to give it a bit more kind of structure. But when the keys come in, doing these more kind of interesting fills, it's still basically maintaining a melody, but it's just bringing more to it. There's more heighten to it, there's more melody to it, there's more richness. And then the vocalist also steps it up a little bit. His nasalness kind of creeps its way in. Whenever he gets loud, his nasalness kind of seems to seep in. He doesn't seem to be able to hold it down. But again, it just brings something new to the table. It is evolving, it is changing. It's not consistent, which is what you don't want. You don't want a consistent thing for 10 minutes. It's going to get boring. I know there is a saying is you can never have too much of a good thing. At least that's what I think it is. But technically, what I'm getting at is that is wrong. There is always too much of a good thing. Actually, that may be the saying. I may have got it wrong there. But if that is the saying, then yes, it's right. And if it isn't, then no, it's wrong. I've completely fucked up here. What I'm getting at is basically Take your favourite album, take your favourite movie, listen to it or watch it, and then repeat it constantly, over and over and over again. Never stop. You can't get up, you can't leave. You have to watch it over and over and over again, listen to it over and over and over again. Nothing in between. You constantly do it. Eventually, you are going to hate it. You'll still respect it for what it is and everything, but then coming back to watch it, it's going to become so boring. It'll just be basically logical then, but no emotional tie. You logically know what it is and what it does and how good it is, but emotionally you've lost it because you've been drained, you're bored, it's so predictable, you've gotten so used to it. Which is why the evolution of this song is always therefore good, and each section is so big that you get enough of it. This first little bit was so long and big, so when it's elevated, it took its time, and then it elevates before it gets too draining, so you've got something new, and then it plays with that for a while in this new element. And then when it comes to the actual kind of chorus of the song, the guitars do kind of come in. It doesn't take it overly heavy because that would kind of destroy the song, but the proper, turn the gain on guitar comes through, and then the vocalist gets even more nasally because he again elevates it. And then when we come to the second verse, it doesn't just repeat. The guitars are there, not clean either. They are the dirty guitar that then takes the melody along with keys, and then a different vocal line. And then the chorus again kind of changes, and then the bridge is different, and then the verse is different, and it goes on and on for 10 minutes. It never really actually repeats itself. I'm not sure if it even does the chorus again. Everything is constantly evolving. There is many elements to this song, and all of them have the focus on melody. All the musicians working in unison together to make sure that everything sounds nice, everything is audible, you can hear and distinguish everything, nothing's drowned out, and everything is on point. Therefore everything's clear, but if you single one thing out, it is brilliance in of itself. And then it's brilliance of many factors all together, not overlapping. It is brilliant songwriting, it's brilliant structuring, it's a band that is in great unison. And this is only the second EP, and they even nailed that in the first album technically. So when we get to the solo, there is a big build to the solo, constant riff changes of technicalities and melodies, and then pace changes. It's just building, it's coming to the solo. And then the first solo kicks in with the key solo. The key solo goes on for a fair while, so you've got your good length for all the key enthusiasts. I like key solos. It gives a change of pace from all the constant guitar solos that we get. And as far as the key solo goes, it's not fast, it's not technical. It's not melodic either. It sounds kind of dark because the kind of tone that the keys have kind of has this kind of menacing kind of sound to it. And then that goes, and when the guitar solo comes in, this is definitely kind of more warm and more melodic. It's not, the traditional, melodic as it's slow paced and everything. It's just not fast or aggressive. It's just it takes its time, but it's not a slow pace. It's a kind of medium kind of pace, if you get my drift. And it's at the end of the song, so it's not actually where the typical solos are. Both of them are at the end, so when it finishes, the song kind of ends. So when it finishes, what you get with this guitar solo, it lasts a full minute, and that's not including the keys. So you're getting a hefty amount of solo. As I say, this EP, the solos are longer, they are way more mature and better. So this entire minute guitar solo is all making sure that each note is playing its part. It's not losing itself in shred, therefore if a note is out, it doesn't matter because there is about 1 billion other notes there. Each note is held and distinguished, therefore if one falls, the whole thing falls down. So each note has to work. It all plays to the melody. The melody has to keep going. If something steps out of line, it falls. So for the whole minute, everything works. The whole melody works. It is amazing. It shows the talent that the guitarist can put emotion into it and puts himself into the solo and understands each note and the fretboard. He has full control of it and he puts himself into it, the emotion. and passion. It's all there. It's an incredible solo. It is absolutely amazing. And that is the first track, so let's get into the second track now. So, second track, The Grandeur of It All. This is 6 minutes and 53 seconds, the shortest song on the album, which is still bloody long. That's the way I like it. And my god, the way the song starts. The keyboardist must be really proud of himself, because this is an amazing intro to a song. So this again starts purely with keys. And just the tone that it has, it's such a unique sounding tone. So just the way it starts, it's like, this is really pleasant, this. Just keys alone, there's nothing else. No drum, bass, guitar, it's just pure keys. And it is a very interesting tone, which I'm kind of lost and drawn into because it's so different. And then what does he do? What is that he's doing? That's a blues beat. He's putting some blues in there, hell yeah. Yeah, give me that dirty blues, hell yeah. And then, what's this? The guitar comes in and smacks you in the bloody face with an amazing riff. And then, ooh, a bit of whammy, yeah, let's go. And then a bit of speed back into that amazing riff. Wow, the energy is going 10 to the dozen here. Just that intro, just nice. Keys, and then blues, and then intensity, whammy, and then back into intensity. It's just such an amazing way to bring in a song. Just nice, relaxed keys, some nice blues, and then intensity and amazingly high energy riff. It's just such a great way to start. And then the vocalist comes in, sounding a bit nasally again, but it's still got that riff going. The energy is there. It's got so much energy to it. And again, what is done, which is brilliant in this song, one of the big standouts, is whenever the singer has a pause, there is a solo. It's not really a solo, it's just a lead from the guitar. He comes in, does this little lead lick. So whenever the singer stops, he's like, oh, I'm just going to come in here for a minute and just, no, you're coming back? Okay, I'll stop, okay, stop. You're going to leave again? No, okay. Oh, no. Every single time. It is absolutely phenomenal. Every time the vocalist stops, he comes in and does a bloody great lead. It is incredible. Just energy, vocals, the intro with how cool that was, and then the kind of blues influence of every gap you get doing this interesting leads to give that energy, the talent, the musicianship. It's energy, it's musicality, it is all there. It is so good. And then coming out of that, working its way into the chorus, just, you know, the energy, the melody of it, it just sounds great. And then coming out of the chorus into the verse, just stops. This is vocals, keys, drum and bass. It's melodic. What a nice thing. Slam the brakes on. Let's not all just do this throughout the whole thing. Let's not blow our load. Let's stop it, calm down, appreciate the melody. Guitar comes back a little, then it comes back in, and then we'll keep it going again. Just give that little bit of a pause, because we don't want to overdo it. They know to not overdo it. The band knows what the hell they're doing here. Phenomenal. And then coming back to where the chorus is, it's not the same, it's different, it's more laid back. And then from here, the song just takes it back just a tad, just a little bit. And just to give, again, something new, to change the pace. Don't have it always remain the same. And then again, we have a build into the solo. A lot of intensity coming towards the solo. So when the solo kicks in, it actually starts guitars this time. And for this time round, it is high energy, it is technical, it's fast. It's not, you know, full shred Herman Lee. He still, every now and again, will stop to do a hold or a whammy pull or something. Just, you know, to give a bit of pause, bit of break, so then the kind of mind can, you know, process and everything. Because if it's a billion notes to a dozen, the brain is not going to keep up with that. It's not going to process. You have to have pause in order for effect. Pause for effect. That is a good saying in film. Pause for effect. Have the memory keep up, catch up, reflect on what's come, get ready for the next part. Okay, here we go. We're ready to process the next segment. Here we go again. Guitarist knows that because he's a genius. He knows what the hell he's doing. He's not a moron like many bands. Bullet for my Valentine, you bunch of idiots. Don't know why I threw that in there, I just hate them so much. Anyway, so then it just immediately jumps to keys. There's no little pause or break in between, just straight into keys. Fast, technical, back to guitar, here we go. Fast, technical, back to keys, here we go again. Fast, technical. It's like a dueling battle. Both instrumentalists trying to outperform the other. It is a technical battle of the keys and guitar. It is phenomenal. It is great. I still prefer the more melodic, but I don't always want melodic. I'll get too tired of it. I like to see the many, many, many sides of the musicians and Fractal Cypher as a whole, and we've got it. The grandeur of it all doesn't really sound anything like Coming Back to Life with all the melody focus and everything and the melodic kind of solos, and then the grandeur of it all with just all the leads and energy, high energy going on. Not really the same, is it? So that is kind of it. That is the grandeur of it all. So let's get into track 3 now. Third track from the Above and To the Stars. This is 8 minutes 5 seconds, so basically just 8 minutes, and this technically kind of starts a bit kind of more typical of what you would hear from other kind of artists. It still has its vibe to it, which has this kind of electronic kind of sound through it, not traditional kind of electronic, but kind of like a dark kind of sci-fi kind of feel to it. This track technically kind of is what represents the album cover the most. So space with the astronaut, which looks like he's held in space, reaching for the star, but he also seems that he's drowning in the depths of the ocean, and I can kind of get that kind of imagery from the kind of song as well. It has that kind of space kind of feel to it, that vibe that it puts out, as well as the deep depths of ocean. I can kind of visualize that and sense that kind of theming through the song. A lot of people probably won't pick up on it. The people who really try and engage and connect and everything probably could manage it. As I say, I do. I can see that. So that is kind of the sound that the song goes for. But as far as kind of tempo and playing goes, the song immediately starts not doing anything kind of unbelievably unique with keys or blues or anything like that. It's just kind of mid-tempo. You got your guitars immediately. Everyone's there from out the gates, doing an interesting riff. As I say, this band don't really seem to do traditional riffs of power chords. They always make sure that there is something unique to their playing, which has some kind of technicalities to it, and that is what it does. And then we get into the verse and everything, and here we are basically just kind of progressing down that typical line of we've got our our riff and the vocals and everything, and it's got this kind of dark, kind of heavy sound throughout, and then we get into the chorus. Now the chorus sounds amazing, singing from the Above and To the Stars. And again, it kind of has that kind of dark kind of sound, like you're in space, you're trying to reach for the stars, but it's like got a vast emptiness. It's like I can kind of visualize kind of like the emotion and feeling the band puts out through the tones of all the instruments and how they play, and the structuring and the vocals as well. I can picture, the big open kind of space and everything reaching for stars. It just has a real nice kind of sound to it. It's got uniqueness yet again. So again, this chorus does sound very unique, kind of unlike anything Fractal Cypher has done, if not many bands either. We do go back into the same verse, which is perfectly fine. It's 8 minutes 5 seconds, and going back to where the chorus is, it does change. It opens up. There's more kind of a melody kind of focus here, and then we get back into our chorus, and then throughout the song again keeps changing the pace, getting more kind of melody focused, something a bit more interesting than what I kind of thought of the actual verse, which I did kind of think was the most kind of typical. It still sounds great, as I said. It's just compared to all the other songs, which really put so much in there. This is the most typical kind of verse that this EP gives. So everything else does kind of change it, and then getting into the solo. To solo, everything is vastly open, so it is melodic. Again, not the traditional melodic. It's got a very kind of dark, kind of heavy sound to it, but everything is held a lot. So the first go through, it's actually not that long. It's just a lot of held notes and everything. It's like, this is very dark, kind of heavy and everything. It doesn't sound beautiful and melodic. It does sound quite dark and heavy, even though it's slow. It's got that heaviness to it, because just the way he's approached it. As I say, it doesn't actually go on for too long, so you do kind of think that was relatively short, not really spectacular, but oh well. The vocalist does kind of come back, but then it does come back to the solo, which then actually does the same thing, but in a bigger, longer chunk. So there's more to it. There is some technicalities kind of thrown in. There's some more kind of, flourishes and stuff. And then it goes to the keys, which again sounds just dark and so kind of heavy in mood. And then leaving this, kind of going very clean. The keys and everything, and then the vocalist, and as it keeps progressing, as the song comes to a close, it just starts getting closer and closer to a whisper until it's just whispering from the above to the stars. And I just think it's just a good way to end it, just after the solos and the darkness and heaviness of the track, mixed in with dark melody, obviously, because they, as I said, the band always focus on melody. They never sacrifice melody. They're not that stupid. Besides one track in the previous album, but never mind. It's only a small section anyway. But I just kind of like how it just starts dying down, just kind of like, if you let me, because some people may find it a bit irritating, but the song kind of ends like it's just kind of losing itself. It's disappearing into the depths of the ocean. It's me being poetic and looking into things by listening to the song and then the album cover and then overthinking. It's basically where I go with that in mind. So, last track. Track 4, Red Lady, 9 minutes 31 seconds. What can I say? Oh my god. What I want everyone to do here is basically pause this video, go and listen to Fractal Cypher Red Lady. Listen to it for yourself. Don't know what's coming, don't spoil it for yourself. Go listen to it. Just focus on this. Play it, make sure there's no sound around you. Turn off the lights, just close your eyes, play the song and focus on it. Make sure there's no other distractions, focus on it and just let yourself get lost in this track. I do not want to spoil this for you. I am going to talk about it when you come back, so some of you may just ignore it and just listen anyway. But I don't want it spoiled. I don't want you to then go listen to it after me, knowing exactly what you're getting. I want you to hear it for yourself and be surprised by what this song does in many ways. All the things this thing does. This song is phenomenal. It is amazing. So many aspects. Brilliant. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you where, what, why. Go listen to it for yourself. And then come back and we'll talk about it then. And we can see if we both noticed. I can explain to you what is so good about it. So, go listen right now and come back. Here you go. Go away. Come back. So, have you gone and listened to it? I hope so, because this is it. I'm going to talk about it now. So, hopefully you've listened to it for yourself. Nothing was spoiled. You enjoyed it. Everything, you didn't know what to expect. Everything was exciting and amazing. First time, not ruined. And for those who just completely ignored me and just is like, oh hell, I just want to hear you, then I'll go listen to it. Well, fuck you then. But isn't that such an incredible song. It's seriously just one of the most incredible songs I've heard. It is phenomenal. So let's get into just what was so amazing about this track. It's Red Lady, 9 minutes 31 seconds. Last track of the EP, how do they end? So it starts with just simple drum beats, just tss, 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 tss. And then it comes into what we're going to get. So it's just something here, it's just tapping itself in. What is it going to be? And what does it introduce you with? Blues. It's blues, for crying out loud. How incredible is that? Guitar doing lead, this nice little lead that is blues based. It's got such a great melody to it. It sounds so nice. It's so warm. Doesn't it just sound absolutely incredible? Just this real nice riff. It's got this great tone to it. It's warm. It sounds epic. It's so nice. It's blues. It's unique for people who listen to just pure metal all the time. It's something new. It's so warm. It's got so much kind of emotion conveyed in it. It's not cold. It's emotion. It's warmth. You can lose yourself into this. There's other bands that just play pure heaviness, where it's just cold and just speed and thrash and screams and everything. It's just cold. This you can just relax and just melt into. You can get lost in this song. Everything is still there, but you feel it in your soul. It connects. You get lost in it. You close your eyes. You can sink into this song. You disappear into the world, the melodies, the emotion that the band conveys. It becomes one with your soul. It is amazing when a song does this, and this song does it, if you let it and you have the maturity to do it. But then getting into the verse, again, phenomenal verse, absolutely incredible verse. Just the keys and the vocals. Again, the vocalist has not sounded like this before. He gives character, personality to this. The kind of melody, the emotion that he conveys. He's feeling this song. He is engaging with the song. He knows what the song is, and he is conveying it. He's singing it with an incredible voice. It sounds great. Take away his voice and let's focus on the keys. The keys here, great melody, and technically it's not even doing a simplistic okay, 1 2 3 rinse repeat kind of riff that most bands do. There's a few things going on. It's melodic and it has these nice little elements to it, and it keeps going. So kind of like a piano just playing this real nice melody all to itself. But the fact is, there is a vocalist actually singing over it. Yeah, it's like the keys can be doing its own thing. You don't even need the vocalist. The keys are doing such an incredible melody. It's doing itself. It doesn't even seem recycled. It's so nice, and there's so much, greatness to it that you don't need anything else. But you do. You have the vocals. And it's not a mess where the keys, it's just like they're not in unison. They are in unison, which is a great thing. The vocalist is the front and centerpiece. There's no doubt about it, but the fact is the keys are still a front and centerpiece in of itself. Because just take them away, it is able to be the front runner because it sounds so phenomenal. You've got so much melody, so much phenomenal musicianship and talent, and you get lost in it, and all of it works all together. And then bringing it up again, it's still got that kind of blues feel to it. It's got such a unique vibe to it. It's just incredible sounding. And then getting into the chorus and then coming out of it, you get a guitar lead. It's just, such high energy. You just got this good energy to it. It sounds fun and everything. It's so nice. And then we go again into keys and the vocalist with a bit more of a heightened melody to it. So it's like, yes, melody and everything after this great, lead from the guitars and everything. Keeping that blues going, the great lead, but then great melodies just to sink yourself into. And then back into the chorus. It's absolutely phenomenal, it really is. And what does the song go and do? Goes bloody heavy. Yeah, it just wipes all that away. Like, melody, yeah, but we're going to be heavy now. It's the complete 180. It gets rid of the blues, technically. It gets rid of the keys. It gets rid of the nice vocals. Nah, it's going to go heavy metal. We're heavy metal, and here we go. Fuck blues. And yet the whole first section, it was phenomenal. And this next section, it's just like, to hell with that. We're going to do something completely different. And it's great. It's just a complete 180 shift. It does give a bit of whiplash. It's a change. But I find it incredible. It just does something brand new. And then from here on out, everything is heavy and dark. It's a complete shift of what the song was doing previously. And it also plays into the song. So you kind of think, the song has started with blues. There has been blues influence in the intro, in the verses, that lead part between the chorus and second verse. What should we get? We should get a blues solo. Don't you think that we deserve a blues solo? A blues solo would be absolutely incredible, wouldn't it? So first off, out the gates, we get keys. And that is doing technically the second portion of the song. It is dark and kind of broody, and got some technicalities to it. It's not blues, it's not melodic and soft and warm. It's dark and calculating, it's harsh and everything. And you kind of think, it's kind of a shame. There's nothing wrong with the keys. It's brilliant and fantastic. As I say, the guy knows how to play, therefore it is great. But you kind of feel kind of shame for what could have been if they kind of did a solo representing what came at the start of the song. So then the keys finish, and you play along. There's some bit going, and then you get the solo of the guitarist. This solo is phenomenal. I feel bad for the keyboardist. It was good. He's a great keyboardist, but holy crap, did this solo just shit all over him. Like, I'm so sorry for him. This guitar solo is just phenomenal. This guitar solo, it's like he's just lost himself in this solo. It is blues based. Thank God. It's slow. He holds the notes. Each note, it's warm, it resonates and sits. And then he comes in with another note and he's like, I'm going to give you this one note and it's going to resonate. It's going to be the best thing. This one note is all you need. But I will give you more, but this one note is going to be so perfect that no other note would work. I've nailed this one note and I'm going to nail all the others to come. It is so perfect, so calculated. It is so well worked. It's like he sat down and he was ripping his hair out. He zoned out. He meditated on this. He went to some place high in the mountains. He did what was needed in order to make this. It's like he ascended to a different plane in order to do this thing. It is so warm. Each note, pause, effect, let it wash over you. What a note. Wow, that was nice. That was so warm. It sounds so pleasing. It's soothing. I'm lost in this note. Here's the next one. Oh, yes. That is great. It is like ecstasy. Your girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband can come in and say to you during this, you want to come to bed? And I will show you pleasure beyond your wildest dreams. And you will reply, nah, I'm alright, thanks. Because this solo is ecstasy. It is so good. You will not need a woman or man to make you feel like that. Because this solo does it. And then after you listen to it, you then go banger. But never mind. Anyway, it is so good. It is incredible. And then it builds. You get one note, another note, two notes, three notes. All warm, well thought out, calculated. They all work by themselves. You couldn't make any other note. No note could replace it. That note has its presence. It has to be there. It's perfect. And then it builds. And then we get the energy coming in. And there is just such an incredible melody. And it's just like, wow, this just sounds so good. It's just so pleasing. It's such a pleasing sound. The melody is working. It's brilliant. Man, that is catchy. That is so high energy. It sounds brilliant. Here's a technical part. Oh yes, we're getting technicality here. And then it just holds on the note as it just fades out. It washes over the vocalist as he comes in, and the solo just, washes over him and just fades into the, darkness coming after him. And then he just continues, and then the song goes until it closes. Wow. What a solo. What a song. What an EP. So wrapping up, most albums I review, I'll say what it needs. So what does this album need? So next, what does this album do wrong? What would I take out? Well, next, what does it do well? It's got identity, it's got the talent, it's got the structure, it's got the layering, it's got uniqueness. It has everything. The solos are there. They're great. It's got the melody, it's got the heaviness, it's got the unique signatures, it's got maturity, it's got great vocals, it's got character, vibe, mood, feeling, unison with all the musicians together. Everything sounds technical. It's not just a riff for the sake of a riff. Every single piece, every note, every part is thought out with such intensity to make sure everything is needed. When the guitar's not there, it's for a reason. So when it comes in, there is an effect, and when he's not there, you await him, and it gives appreciation and listen to the keys and the vocals. Everything is thought out and consistent. And then, as I say, that last track, Red Lady, the blues, the solo is just such a phenomenal solo. I don't know what the hell this album does wrong. I can't say what it does wrong. There is nothing wrong in this. I would like someone to challenge me. What is wrong? What should be took out? What should be added? Was the solo, the guitar solo in Red Lady, crap? What could it have been better? I would challenge anyone to come at me to say that solo could be better. It was bloody incredible, that solo. I'd like anyone to challenge me that any of this is bad. It is just brilliant. And getting back to what I said in my previous album of I do not give out 10 out of 10s. I've only done 2, and nothing comes close. This, come on, it's 10 out of 10. It would be insulting not to give it a 10 out of 10. How the hell could this be a 9? It's a 10 out of 10. It just is. There's no way around it. 10 out of 10. Masterpiece. Perfection. An album that needs to stand the test of time. This is phenomenal. You need to support this band. Go buy everything. I can't wait for the Human Paradox to the physical copy at least to come back into the shelf so I can buy that physically as well as this and have this in my collection, because I take such pride in listening to this band. I'm proud to listen to them, and I'll be proud to put them on the shelf because they deserve to be. I want to hold this, have it in my collection, because it is phenomenal. This band and this EP blows my mind. It is phenomenal. Go, buy, listen for yourself, and just enjoy, support. And I hope I see more from this band, because as I said in the first album, they only have 3,000 fans on Facebook, which is really pathetic. They deserve thousands, millions. But if my Valentine have bloody millions, they don't deserve bloody anything. They're useless. Disturbed have millions, and they're bloody awful. Slipknot have millions, and they are woefully crap. Support this. Listen to it. You will not be disappointed. I swear you won't be. I can promise that. See you in the next one.